Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Please silence all cell phones and note that this meeting is being taped by FCTV. If there's any private party recording this hearing, please stand up to the podium and request permission. And I will introduce the board and staff. The latecomer to the show is Mark Finneran, a voting member, but he is on time. And to his left, we have Scott Peterson, a member. To my right is Frank Duffy, our clerk. My name is Suzanne Murphy, the chair. To my left is James Morse, vice chair. Tony Pertucci, associate, is on his left. And Nick Haney is associate. We have Noreen Stockman, zoning administrator, and Ashley DeMello, office assistant. The Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with applying the state zoning statutes as well as the town's zoning bylaws in reviewing and voting on every application. All decisions are made through the public hearing process. Our goal is to hear testimony from the applicants and the public and to allow a full and fair discussion of the project prior to closing the hearing and reaching a decision. Number one, to begin each hearing, the clerk will read the public announcement for the hearing and read pertinent information from the file. Number two, the applicant and the applicant's representative will then have 15 minutes to make a presentation, but time may be extended by vote of the board. The public will then question the applicant. Four, next, the public will be invited to comment. Comment should be limited to 2 minutes and be strictly related to the proposal. All members of the public wishing to speak should wait to be recognized by the chair and should come to the podium. State your name and address for the record. Please speak into the microphone. It will not amplify your voice and record audio for FCTV viewers. And we also have a time, if you have a public comment to make to the board, we will not comment back, but if anyone wants to come up to the podium and make a public comment, you're welcome. Anybody? Okay, so we'll move on to our agenda tonight. We have two continuations. We have 10924 JJEC Development, LLC, 4 Sandwich Road, East Falmouth. They've requested a continuation till April 10th.
I'll move it.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
And a second. 2 seconds. Any discussion?
Do we need an extension, or we have one on file?
We have it right here. You want to come up, Mr. Ahmed, and sign? Would you sign? Thank you. We'll take a vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Oh, you got one?
April 10th, you said?
April 10th, 6 p.m. And our next continuation is 12324 Parker, 26 Deacon. Special permit to raise. We have a request to move to March 13th at 6 p.m.
Move it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we need an extension?
No. That was last week's. It was not stated. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. And then we'll start our new hearings, and we've had a request to move 00425 up. Rasilian at 23 Old Barnstable Road, East Falmouth, requesting a special permit. No, because it's going to be quick. Thank you.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
This is application 004 of the year 2025. Tiago Rassilon, property 23 Old Barnstable Road, East Falmouth. He's applied to the Falmouth Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to section 246.6B of the Code of Falmouth to allow a conversion of the existing single-family dwelling into 2 dwelling units. Property is located at 23 Old Barnstable Road, East Falmouth, Massachusetts. The zoning district is RC. It's in flood zone X and wind category B. The existing structure is 1,522 square feet, and it will remain 1,522 square feet. That is the principal structure on the property. There's an accessory structure, but it's not involved. The lot is 25,633 square feet in a zoning district currently requiring 40,000 square feet. Street frontage is 82.7 feet in a district currently requiring 100 feet of frontage. Old Barnstable Road is a public right-of-way. The lot coverage by structure existing is 9%. It proposed will be increased to 9.4% within the 20% limit. Lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is 20%, will be increased to 21.2% within the 40% limit allowed by the zoning bylaw. The building, the principal building is conforming as to zoning. However, there is an accessory structure or a shed where there's a nonconformity of 6.8 feet with the northerly sideline. The height of the building, it's not going to be changed. We have comments from engineering. They request us to consider stormwater runoff, erosion control, and also that when the project is finally finished, it has to apply to for appropriate building numbers. The Board of Health says that there's a 5-bedroom septic permit required. It doesn't say whether there is one or not, but 5-bedroom permit is required. Conservation has no comment. Water requires a separate meter for each unit. Building Commissioner has no comment. And the plan shows 6 parking spaces, and I detected no letters either in support or opposition in the file.
Okay, I'm Tiago. I'm the owner of the house, and we try to get like a 2-family house. You know, nothing's gonna change. No structure is gonna change. It's gonna keep like 5 bedrooms. I already have the permit for my back shed already, and everything the building department asked me to do. First of all, when I started wrong. I know everybody make mistake, you know, especially like when I come from Brazil. The law in Brazil is one thing, and he is totally different. And I spoke with Gary. He said, no, you have to do it right. And I started to do everything right. Everything they ask me to do, I do it. You know, I'm not rich people. I work hard. I got the 3 properties in Falmouth, and it's under my name. And from that, I try, you know, like even my neighborhoods in that, the house was a shitty, and I make the beautiful yard. I make my neighborhoods value. So I don't think it's no reason to be not 2-family house, you know. So I'm doing everything right you guys asked me to do, so that's your guys' decision, you know. So just so you guys know, when I first came in here, I have no 1 word in English. And now
Doing pretty good.
3 property under my name, and you know, and I respect everyone, even people doesn't like me here for. No, I don't here to. I'm not here to. You know what I mean? So I'm just here to follow the law. That's all. And if you guys say yes or no, I'm happy with. That's it. Thank you so much.
Anybody have any questions for the applicant?
Wait, questioning the applicant, not comment.
Hold on.
Yeah. And the last time she went to my house, I called police for her because she's almost hit my kids because I have a camera and I still have the video. And I called the police, and the police went to her house because I still have the video, okay? Because she went to my house like many times.
Many times?
I do have all the videos.
Okay, we're not going to...
No, I know. I'm not here to discuss this, just so you know.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah.
I still have the video.
Wait, sir. We have questions.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
First off, you said you already have a permit for the
I
building
do.
out back?
Yes.
As what?
Has like my paint workshop with half a bathroom.
Okay.
Yes. No full bathroom. I know I have to redo my septic system. I know
Well,
that.
there's no plans or indication of what,
It is,
your septic.
no, but I have to upgrade my septic. I know that. So it's no plan for
you
my
don't,
septic.
you
yet.
don't indicate here how you intend to. You have plans for that?
Septic, no yet. No, because
He has
have
to get a permit.
I have to get a perm, yes.
First,
But if I
and then
need
I
to,
can-
if I need to, I will get it, okay? Yeah, so everything guys ask me to do it, you know, septic, I know my septic is very old. I have to upgrade that, I will.
All right, so that's going to be a workshop back there?
It's gonna be a workshop.
No dwelling, because you already have your 2.
Yes, no room addition to the house, nothing, so it's gonna be, the house is gonna be the same thing. The only thing is gonna do like not the escape, not the stairs.
Extra, yeah,
to the
egress.
The regress, yes.
That's all I had.
Okay,
Anybody else, Scott? You want to say?
Just to 5 bedrooms?
it's gonna keep the 5 bedrooms, 2 upstairs and 3 downstairs.
None in the basement?
The basement, not the basement, because I get a permit to do the stairs, go inside to the house, because I only have like I only have like one access to the outside, like a bulkhead, and I make a door. And I just finished the stairs inside the house, which I have a permit for that too. Actually, I'm gonna call inspection to go there. So it's gonna be 2 families. First level, basement is gonna be 1 house. And the second floor is gonna be another separate apartment,
Thank you.
okay?
Now, on this building out back, which is going to be a workshop, am I correct that you're going to be removing some part of that building so it will conform to zoning, be at least 10 feet off the
The building's
sideline?
gonna keep the same, because as far as I know, Gary told me, measuring it up, it's not be too high, and I did, it's not too high, it's below the law, because it's gonna keep the same. I'm gonna change anything, okay?
Well, on your plan here, it says there's a portion of the building is going to be removed, and I think that's the, do you have a little entryway on the side?
I think it's like.
Oh, just the little, yes, yes, they're gonna be removed, for
Okay,
sure.
thank you.
Yes, yes, because the fence for my neighbor is too close. That's gonna be removed, yes.
Jim, you have any questions?
I do. Mr. Russell, good evening. So what is the current size of your septic right now? Do you know?
I don't know.
Is it just,
I know it's a very, very old, my septic is fell, so I have to upgrade that for sure. That's, because I have someone go there to look it up, and I know it's, I have to do that right away.
It's got a tank with an old honeycomb.
Yeah, it's an old septic
it just
system.
seems that the existing conditions, that there's 7 bedrooms on this property, and that's going to be too much. So your plan is then to
No, I'm
remove-
just asking for 5, same thing, it's
You're going
there.
to be removing the kitchen fixtures and interior fixtures from the basement apartment. Would you have any issue if we conditioned an inspection as well as opening up some of the walls? Just
I already did everything, I already moved all the kitchen, everything, I already moved all the stove, and it's nothing there already. It's all one big area on the basement. And the bathroom, and just a little sink, no kitchen, no nothing.
For you, Madam Chairman, when I was reviewing this online, I didn't see some of the submissions, or at least I was checking from town boards. Is there an approved Board of Health?
The comment is that he needs to apply for a 5-bedroom
Disposal permit.
Okay.
That's all it
disposal
says.
permit.
And do they have any concerns about the bedroom count or reduction?
No, they
rate needs to be
No,
done?
says 5,
Okay.
because it shows 5.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Tony?
So, this is a conversion under 246.6. Am I correct? You're converting this from a single-family house to a multifamily.
2 families, yes.
Back on December 4th, 2019, you bought this house, and at that time, it was a single family.
Yes, sir.
And until 2025, it was designated as a single family in this town. But you had already converted it prior to. Now, one of the requirements of conversion under this bylaw is that you can't add additional bedrooms or gross square footage.
It's
So
gonna
can you tell us, because you already made the conversion, when you bought this in 2019, how many bedrooms did you have?
5,
There were 5 bedrooms.
yes.
And
It's not
and
gonna
how
change.
is that, how is that being verified? How did you get that verified? So in other words, for this board to know, because that's part of the conversion, is you can't go beyond that.
Okay, so be honest with you guys, because I'm not here to lie to anyone.
No, I'm
okay?
not saying you are.
Because when I first came in here, I didn't know, I thought I was in Brazil, but I'm not. So I just did apartment downstairs, I did apartment, a house in the middle room, and I did another apartment on the 3rd floor. But no one's telling me that's, but as far as I know, and I got a lot of, comments from Gary and say, okay, I don't want to keep doing things wrong. And they
No,
say,
I
okay, I
don't-
want to do,
I
okay,
understand that.
answering your question, I have 5 bedrooms in the house.
All right, so you have 5 bedrooms in the house.
Yes.
You're going to have 5, and you're going to continue to have 5 bedrooms in the house. And as of January 1st, 1980, unless that's changed recently, you had 5 bedrooms. So when you bought the house, it had 5 bedrooms.
They have had 5 bedrooms already, yes.
Were any of those bedrooms in the basement?
No bedroom in the basement.
So every bedroom in that house was a
Yeah,
legal bedroom?
3 bedrooms on the 1st floor and 2 bedrooms upstairs.
Where will, and I'm not quite sure looking at these plans, there's going to be 2 units.
2 units, yes,
You had originally converted it over to 3 units back in the day. I remember when you withdrew your application.
yes.
Right. Just remind me what is going to happen to whatever you did in the basement, because I can see this on the plan, but I think Mr. Morse wants an inspection.
Yeah, we could condition that, yeah.
So what's going to happen with in the basement? It's just, you're just
The
going to have...
basement, the only thing I have in the basement, it's 1 sink, 1 bedroom, no bedroom, bed to take a shower. I'm sorry for my English, okay?
So,
So I have that, and everything is an open space. No kitchen, no nothing.
so
Okay?
when you bought this on December 4th, 2019, you've not added any additions to the house, any
No,
gross
it's the
square footage?
same way it was, no, same size. I just changed inside. The only thing I did on the outside is the little shed on the back, which I have a permit already for that.
All right, so your testimony is that when you bought the house, it had 5 bedrooms.
Yes.
You have not changed the gross square footage
No,
of the
no, the
house?
same thing.
There's going to be 2 units. One's going to be on the first floor, one's going to be on the second floor?
2 units. One's gonna be like for the first floor is gonna include the basement, which could be like a living room, little bar in a bedroom. No bedroom, bed, okay? And a second apartment upstairs with the 2 bedrooms.
In the second apartment, so first floor and basement is the apartment, second floor is the second one.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And, yeah, whatever the building department requires of fire exit and all of that, that's for you to deal with them.
Yes. Because I did the stairs from inside the house to go into the basement, which I didn't have it before.
All right, I have no way of knowing. Obviously, we take your word that there were only 5 bedrooms, so.
The
Okay.
assessor's record reflects that as well.
Do they? Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
You all set?
Yep.
Any further questions up here before we go to the public? No. Anybody from the public?
Hi, guys. So I just want to start off by saying,
You have to say your name and
Diana
your address.
Moda, 30 Court Rail Ave. So he says he's going to 5 bedrooms, okay, second floor, 1, 2, first floor, 3, 4, 5, basement floor, 6, 7, finished 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 bedrooms. So when he first moved in there, bought the house, he just went and did whatever he wanted. There was a pool there one time, then he changed it to a gazebo, and then he goes and he builds this apartment in the back. Builds a leach pit right behind it. Now, I counted, I think it was 23 cars in that yard at one time. We lived there, they were there for 4 years, all summer. Radio blasting, we call the police, ask them to turn it down, 10 minutes later, it's back up. They've had fires out behind the field of our house, that field catches on fire, we're done. They have absolutely no respect for us. My uncle lives on the side of, like the other side on 19. They built this fence to block my uncle from being able to see what, it's not that my uncle's looking, but he used to be able to mow his lawn right in between the bushes going all the way back behind his garden. So there was, they left nails hanging out of the fence. My uncle caught his sleeve on the nails that were facing out. The trash was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, he just made stairs to go up to that place, that in the back, that house. He's got stairs going up. He doesn't have the septic. It's an RC zone, which means it's single family. And if he wanted to, he could put a business there that runs 8 to 4. It's not multi-development. They have absolutely no respect for us. We've been there over 50 years. Over 50 years. My uncle asked them to be quiet because my aunt is a sick woman. They didn't care. They yelled at my uncle, they disrespected my uncle, they threw Sawzall blades over his fence, beer cans over his fence, and we have proof of it. And I'm gonna tell you something right now, it's not gonna happen, and he better just sell the property, because I'm not gonna let it happen. He's lying, telling you 5 bedrooms? On this plan, there's 10. And then he comes, when he bought the house, he didn't even come in here and ask you guys for permits. He just did what he wanted to do. We've been there over 50 years. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Like I said, it's single family, it's zoned RC for single family, and you can have a business that operates 8 to 4, and that's it. And he's, of 5 bedrooms. There were like, I don't know, probably 40 people living in that house. And that's it, and I'm just gonna say something right now, it's not gonna happen. It's zoned single family, the zoning bylaws have not changed, and they're not gonna change now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from the public on this case?
I'm Carlos.
Yeah, go ahead, TT.
Come on up.
I'm Carlos Tavares.
Wait till you get up here.
Come on up and give us your name and address, please.
I'm Carlos Tavares. I live next the 23 house there, and like 2 or 3 years ago, it's a party there, music all night, and I used to work in the steamship to come like 11 o'clock. I wake up 3:30 to go to work. It's a lot of nights don't sleep because too much noise. Party, leave the radios on all the time, and beer cans the next morning, my God, I go there working, my God, and the beer cans, Sawzall blades, circus saw blades, trash all over the place. Then I have to pick all that stuff all the time, and he put the fence up, he got these nails sticking out. I have 2 feet between my cedars and the fence. I passed the lawnmower there. And no, I came past the lawnmower. You got these nails sticking out. You got those piles of dirt. He left cobblestones in my property. And, it's a mess. I don't have to deal with this stuff. I pay my tax in time. I live in Falmouth for almost 50 years,
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with that, I'm very happy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further questions?
No?
Can I have a motion to close?
I would give you a motion to close.
Second?
There we go. We have a motion to close in a second. Any further discussion? Go for it if you want.
Well, I don't know how to put this, but maybe just me reading these plans. I want to make sure that the bedrooms that are there now that would violate this bylaw. I guess what we're going to do is require an inspection.
Yeah.
And if the board does approve it, it would be limited to the original 5 bedrooms. I'm not sure what's going on with that shed. I have no clue or understanding of that. I'm not voting on this one, but I don't know if everybody else does on that. I'm not sure of it. I'm not sure what part of the bylaw is going to be used for that shed, and that's what I'd like to hear, or I'd like the board to hear. But that's my concerns.
A review of the initial plans, as it appears that there are 7 bedrooms, that there are 2 in the basement, there were 3 on the first floor and 2 on the second floor, which is 2 above what I could suggest the existing cesspool is. Through you, Madam Chairman, is there any enforcement action pending right now with the building commissioner?
Didn't mention any.
No. Where are you getting the extra 2 bedrooms?
Under existing,
In the basement?
yeah, under existing
Testimony was
conditions.
that all the walls have been
Yeah, the
removed
walls are gone.
downstairs.
I understand, but at some point, there were 7 bedrooms, so.
Oh, yeah.
So I think what the applicant was trying to explain was that he had proceeded and was intending to have a 3rd unit.
Right.
And the building department advised him he had received a
filed.
permit,
Right.
but also that there would be unusual requirements because with the state code, if you're exceeding 2 residences in a dwelling, there's more requirements made of you for safety purposes that was not going to be possible for him to comply with. So so the bedrooms that had been added to the basement were removed. So I think that's where some of the count problem is coming from. But so Scott McGann in Board of Health has said that it was a 5-bedroom and that he's expecting that that's the max that they're gonna be allowed.
I wonder if we couldn't incorporate some kind of inspection of the shed itself too, with the inspection of the dwelling? Maybe that might make,
Didn't he say it was going to be used as storage in a workshop
Right.
for himself?
yes.
So he has that right.
So he can do
Right.
that.
The only thing is, it's going to get, I'm sure they're going to inspect as to the removal of the steps in the back, and,
Right, they're gonna be out there looking at it anyway,
Yeah.
right. But we could incorporate that there's a question about it, if you want.
One of the conditions here is that it says that the lot was in existence as of January 1, 1980. It doesn't say the building, it says the lot. So that doesn't lock him into the same bedrooms that were there. They can be 5 brand-new bedrooms, as long as the total is not changed.
change.
Yeah.
My concern is I just don't want additional illegal bedrooms created in excess of what the septic capacity is. I think we can
Right,
condition
share
that.
that, too.
It's a concern, given that, I mean, it's not that difficult to just move a stove back in if you've got the electrical infrastructure in place and move in some counters and so on. Just put up temporary California closets for walls, and suddenly you have another accessory dwelling area. So but it's just concerns about that.
It appears there's sufficient eyes on the property, or if that,
I defer to the Board of Health. If they say that you can get 7 bedrooms in there, great, that's okay, they're the experts.
The last person I want to disagree with is Mr. Duffy. You have to understand that with regard to what was just said. 2D says there are no additional bedrooms above the number in existence of dwelling as of January 1st, 1980. So I think it's not a very difficultly written bylaw, but still refers to the bedrooms as of 1980 versus just a lot sitting there.
It does, but the number is, it's not, what I was saying is it's not tied to the exact same number of bedrooms. They can be different as long as the number doesn't change. That's the way I read it.
And the number as of that date is 5. Okay.
means they can gut it and put 5 bedrooms in a different area, redesign it, but as long as the number doesn't change.
As long as the number doesn't change, or the square, or the gross square footage.
Right.
Okay.
Any further discussion? We have a close and a second. Any further discussion? Everybody all comfortable with this? With closing?
Yeah, comfortable that it's 5.
Comfortable that it's 5, but you're
That's it.
comfortable to close?
Yes.
We can condition.
That it stays that
No, I
way.
agree. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
should.
Everybody all set to vote on closing? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? No opposition. All right.
Motion to approve with conditions?
I'll second. There you go. All right, let's do findings.
Okay, the building itself conforms to zoning and dimensionally as far as setbacks are concerned. The shed has a nonconformity which the applicant said he is going to correct to 10 feet.
I don't think he's going to correct it. The 10 feet is,
Yeah, it shows on the plan.
The back stairs.
The back stairs,
I thought the 8.9 was to the,
It is.
but it's,
to the, oh, it's 11.6, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, I didn't see that, yep.
we have, there were 5 bedrooms in the house when he purchased it. Evidence shows that there were 5 bedrooms originally in the house. There's going to be 5 bedrooms proposed, so there's no increase in the number of bedrooms. Under 246.6B, he's allowed to, the applicant is allowed to, in an RC district, convert a single-family dwelling into multiple units by special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. It was in existence as of January 1, 1980. There are no material changes to the exterior. of the existing single-family dwelling. There's no increase in the gross floor area of the single-family dwelling. The number of bedrooms remains the same. There will be no home occupation, and none will be permitted. And there's a provision about a water resource protection district, but this is not in it. So for a special permit under section 244.1E, we make a finding that the site is adequate for the proposed use. It is suitable for the proposed use. There's no testimony that there will be a negative impact on traffic flow and safety. There's no testimony that there will be a negative impact on the visual character of the neighborhood views or vistas. There's adequate sewage disposal as required by the Board of Health requiring a permit for a 5-bedroom house. There's adequate utilities, and this does not impact the supply of affordable housing.
All right. Do we vote before the conditions?
After.
Let's do conditions. Jim, you want to start? 'Cause you want an inspection. You can start. Because that's, no, I agree, it's important.
Residents to remain 5 bedrooms.
Get back out here. No kitchen equipment in basement.
Basement shall not be used as bedrooms. Kitchen, cooking, cooktop, counters.
No kitchen equipment, how's that?
Kitchen equipment to be removed and shall not be reinstalled. Second set of stairs coming in, which is nice. Inspection by the building department or building official previous to final CO sign-off. Those are the ones that the concerns I have.
5-bedroom disposal permit,
Per plan, standard hours of
Per
work.
plans.
Any additional,
2 separate water lines. He needs 2 water lines, that's per water department. Anybody else got any other conditions? Tony, do you want any?
As long as you get the inspection, as long as you,
Shed stairs to be removed.
shed stairs to be removed.
Interior inspection?
Interior inspection.
The plan shows parking spaces at 6. That should be at least 6.
Right, it shows, parking is shown on plan, yep.
there were no performance standards submitted by the building, or the planning board for this project?
No.
Nothing. No.
That's unusual.
You think of anything else?
So
Very
the
uncomfortable.
engineering is also required that the address be posted and
Okay.
that the units be on the entrance door so that if there's an emergency, right?
Got that, numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, got that, yes. Excuse me?
You think of any other conditions? Okay.
Shed will not be used for residential dwelling purposes without additional permit.
Okay.
The bylaw also says it can be no home occupation if you're allowing this conversion, so that's a double.
And taking into account
I didn't know what that noise was. Any further conditions, anybody?
No, but I'd like to make two more findings. One, there were no letters in support or opposition, but there was testimony of 2 neighbors in opposition. That should go in the findings.
There's also no pending enforcement action from the building department.
Right.
Okay, all set to vote?
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. We're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I have a last question? So everything you guys asked me to change, you guys gonna send me by email, so make sure I do everything's right? I mean, like the numbers you just said, I mean.
You won't get your,
So I'll get all the information.
Yes, so we will write this up for you and then send it to you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, so this answer is yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, now we'll go to, oh boy, is a tough one for me to say. Papagno, thank you. I'm Irish, I can't,
Can't be
I'm
Italian.
not good at this. Anyway, we have 40 Silver Beach.
Okay, this is application 002 of the year 2025. Denise Papagno, trustee, has applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to sections 240-10.2A, and 240.11.3A4 of the Code of Falmouth, which is the zoning bylaw, to remove the existing garage and to raise and rebuild the existing non-conforming single-family dwelling and increase lot coverage by structure. The property is located at 40 Silver Beach Avenue in North Falmouth. The zoning district is RC. There's an overlay district. The Wild Harbor Coastal Pond Overlay District is the applicable overlay district. The flood zone is X, and it's in wind category B. The existing structure is 1,190 square feet with 3 bedrooms. The proposed structure is 1,270 square feet with 3 bedrooms. There are no previous decisions of the Zoning Board of Appeals. The lot is 5,159 square feet in a district that currently requires 40,000 square feet. The frontage on Silver Beach Avenue is 55 feet. Zoning bylaw currently requires 100 feet of frontage. Silver Beach Avenue is a public right-of-way at this location. The lot coverage by structure is currently 23.1%, which exceeds the 20% limit. It will be increased to 24% limit, which also exceeds the 20% limit, but is within the 25% that we have the authority to approve by special permit. The lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is 37.1. It will be reduced to 33.8. The limit is 40 under the zoning bylaw. The current nonconformities are, to the east, it's 21.4 feet. To the west, it's 5.2 feet, which is a nonconforming distance. The street, Silver Beach Avenue, is to the north, and the setback is 14.8 feet, which is a nonconformity. 25 is required, and to the south, which is the backyard, is 5.7, which is also a nonconformity. I don't have the height of the existing structure, but the plans show that the proposed structure will be 28 feet 8 5/8 inches, which is within the 35 feet allowed by the zoning bylaw. We have from engineering a request to consider the stormwater, dry wells for roof runoff, and erosion control. The Board of Health says they're okay with the 3-bedroom septic system. Conservation Commission has no comment. The Water Department requires an upgrade of the service to 1 inch. Planning Board, no comment. Building Department, no comment. Fire, no comment. Assessors, no comment. I found no letters in support or in opposition on the file. And yours.
Madam Chair? Before we start, this house wasn't properly staked. The applicant or his agent called the office and said that the ground was frozen and they couldn't get stakes in. We sent back someone last week because they couldn't get stakes in, and they were well able to get them in on that property this week. I asked the surveyor what he does, and it was what I indicated before. He uses a bar. Also, I mean, the engineer, whoever, has a phone. They could have looked at his phone and checked the weather and saw that it would have been, if he couldn't get into the ground, he would have easily been able to get into the ground on the weekend or any day this week. And I think it would be improper for us to make an exception for this applicant when we don't for anyone else.
I went out there last Saturday, and I saw what Mark saw, and I found it inadequate.
I'll agree with that. I mean, we say it has to be staked, and flags, you know, ribbons in the trees, and
You have to
it wasn't
also,
proper.
you have to appreciate that, you know, maybe in this case, you know, the house remains the same, but those stakes have to stay there for quite some time because, you know, foundations get placed and everything, and quite frankly, if I were a homeowner, I wouldn't pay for this half a job, and I won't accept it as a member of this board either. And I mean, the word has to get out. I mean, we work for nothing, and take our time, and to drive out there and to see that somebody didn't meet the rules that are on the first page of the application is simply unacceptable.
Anybody else have any comment?
Staking's important. It's even more so on very small lots.
Yep. 5,000. All right, so we'll move to continue.
May I just speak slightly? I mean, I'm not against continuing this. I'm going to follow the board's direction, and I appreciate the comments that were made.
Your name and address,
My name is Jonathan Poloni, Senni Associates. We're representing Denise Papagno, the owner, who is present this evening. We obviously were hoping to go forward with this evening, but if we can continue it to the next hearing, is that what you're expecting to do, to the next hearing? Is that enough time?
don't know what we have as available.
So our next date would be March 27th. We do have a meeting on the 13th, but it's full, and we're also voting a 40B that night.
Yeah.
So the next regular meeting would be on March 27th, and we could continue them on that date.
Okay.
I do just want to acknowledge that in my conversations with the engineer, there was a constructive effort to reach out and try and address the proper marking at the site in lieu of being able to get into the ground because it was too frozen. I know that efforts were made to go out there and try to pound the ground with rebar that were unsuccessful. And so an alternative was to paint the markings on the ground, which included marking the driveway where there is going to be some extension of the building into the existing driveway, which wouldn't have been able to stake there anyhow. So I do just want to impress upon you that this wasn't just a fly-by-night where we're just going to disregard the board's policy. There was a constructive effort to mark it so that when the board members did go out there, they could see where the project's going to be. I apologize that it was not enough to meet your requirements, and we'll certainly get that done before the next board hearing.
That'd be great.
If you can't get a stake into the ground, at Harbor Freight last week, I bought a hammer drill. If, they're having a deal, buy a battery, get a drill. I mean, and a set of 3 masonry bits cost me $14. The whole thing was $112. I mean, all other surveyors get their stakes in the ground.
I'll pass that along.
Pardon me?
I will pass that along. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have a motion yet?
Then I'll make a motion to continue this matter until March 27th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none?
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to 73 Alcott.
Madam Chair, rather than waste any time, I pulled up to 73 Alcott yesterday afternoon, and there were 4 stakes fallen over on the front yard. Same thing, the engineer, surveyor, whatever, made no effort to drive the stakes properly into the ground. They were not even as far as the taper. And again, I mean, I spoke to other surveyors. They simply use a bar. If you can't do it with a bar, if you're not strong enough, I mean, you can, as I said, you can get a hammer drill for $100 and something. This wasn't staked properly. I didn't even bother to look at the missing corner that led up to the tangent because it wasn't necessary. There were at least 4 stakes in the front yard that were over. I got out and I could see that the stakes that were there weren't even driven in as far as the taper. I mean, and again, anybody that's doing this could look at their phone and see that they would have had every day this week where the temperature was going to be over 40 degrees. So they certainly wouldn't have had any trouble. And the frost is only about 3 inches deep. There's just no excuse for it. And
This
I
is
mean,
the one we got an email on,
Yeah.
correct? That said they spray painted.
no, that was the last one, was the spray paint.
Oh,
The
okay.
last one.
Yeah.
Did we get an email on this one? I don't think so.
Yeah, they said that it wasn't a corner.
corner.
Because
Oh, okay,
it's,
that's right. I knew
it's
we
a,
had- okay.
it's an arc, a radius, but it would still need to be corner stakes where the radius began. But like I said, in the front yard, there was 4 or 5 stakes laying down.
Yeah.
And that's simply not acceptable. And, I mean, people pay for the survey, and whoever goes in there and does the next step works off those stakes. And if somebody's just driving them back, it's, I mean, we already made someone move a swimming pool this year for similar reasons, and I think everybody has to abide by our policies.
Do you want to comment?
We should open the hearing first.
Oh, that would be a good idea, shouldn't we now? We
Mark.
should let Frank open the hearing.
All right, this is application 003 of the year 2025. Alice Goldstein, trustee, has applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to sections 240.10.2A and 240.11.3A4 of the Code of Falmouth, which is the zoning bylaw, to convert the existing garage into habitable space, construct a new garage addition, and covered front porch exceeding 20% lot coverage by structure. The property is located at 73 Alcott Street in East Falmouth, Massachusetts. We also have a note here from Scott Schluter, who's the assistant town engineer, that on the plans, it shows that Shore Street is one of the abutting streets, but it was renamed Bog Street. But the front street is Alcott. Property is located in an RB zoning district. It is in a wind category C, but no flood zone, no overlay district, no previous zoning board of appeals decisions. The existing property is 2,159 square feet. The proposed property is 2,911 square feet. The lot size is 12,680 square feet in a zoning district which requires 40,000 square feet. The frontage is 85.52 feet in a district that requires 100 feet. Alcott Road is a private way at this point. The lot coverage by structure is 16%, proposed to increase it to 20.3% within the 20%, exceeding the 20% limit requiring the special permit under 240.11.3A4. The lot coverage by structure, parking, and paving is 21.9, to be increased to 26.23. It's within the 40% limit of the zoning bylaw. The existing nonconformity is the structure is actually not nonconforming as to dimensions. The nonconformity is the proposed coverage by structure. The height of the proposed building will be 20 feet 6 inches. Engineering has asked us to look at stormwater runoff, dry wells to take care of roof runoff, impose erosion control conditions, and also notes that the fence appears to be, may not be on the lot and may require some kind of relief in the form of licenses or easements or something like that. The Board of Health has no issues with a 3-bedroom septic system for this property. Conservation has no concern. The Water Department requires an upgrade of the service to 1 inch. The Building Department says that there's a designation of Alcott Road as the front yard, and Fire Department has no comment. Also, I noted that the worksheet for lot coverage by structure does not contain an average. Did anybody see an average on there?
I did not.
No.
So that has to be averaged out, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's it.
No letters.
No letters in opposition at the present time, no letters in support at the present time.
So we are going to continue, but if you want to comment.
Good evening. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Just one point for you. In the instance where there's an arc, technically, it wouldn't be a lot corner, but it would be known as a point of intersect.
Okay.
I'm quite sure from my engineering background of 50 years ago. But,
Appreciate that.
it still needs to be indicated. That would be the termination of the straight line where it begins to, hence, intersect.
Understood.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Joshua Karajanis. I'm the contractor that is responsible for this project. I don't want to waste any of your time. Obviously, we need to get the staking squared away, and we'll deal with the rest of that on the next one. I'll get the averages. What was it, the lot coverage percentage average?
Well, there's a requirement to submit a work, I think the worksheet is there, but you just didn't average anything.
Okay.
Right.
So,
That way we can compare what you have to the average of the neighborhood.
Right?
Is the date didn't come back?
What's your thoughts on the fence, too?
Do you have a date?
Did you get the fence issue?
Yeah, it's definitely off.
There's an encroachment there.
Yeah, there's some, I got that from engineering, so
Okay.
we'll comply with whatever the requirements they need.
All right.
March 27th.
Motion to continue till March 27th?
Second.
There's a motion to continue in a second. Any further discussion?
That's good for the applicant.
Is that good for you?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Check, I guess you're right. You make it.
Yes, as soon as possible, yes.
Let's hope the ground's plenty soft by then.
Yeah, I'm going to take up your advice on that masonry bit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. All right. Hunting night. All right, are we doing any, this goes in the old silver file.
I'll find
I
it.
got
It's
two
up
old silver
it's
files.
up there somewhere.
Are we doing any minutes?
No.
Iffy.
I'm working on
No,
getting
that's okay.
them caught up.
All right, board
Not
discussion.
looking for any
I
extra.
do have.
Management of public comment. Ooh, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Is that me? I didn't put it on there.
I had asked for it.
Let's go, bring it on.
I didn't know if the board, I mean, there are hearings in which they're very contentious and people want to make comments, and during my time as chair, I think it was always good to let people voice and vent. But there are times I think that it's gotten a little long-winded. I didn't know what the board's appetite was, if we wanted to reinstitute or a time limit rule, and if so, do we want to?
I was doing it tonight, actually, because I thought there might be a problem. But I'm going to try. I know with 40Bs, I did ask our council to let it ride, and now I have to bring myself to regular 40As. And yes, I did it tonight. I will try. And I might throw you my phone. You can be my assistant.
Is the idea of a
But I
clock
don't know if
still on the table?
there was a clock.
I mean, I've gone to
think
some
Scott
selectmen's
brought
meetings
that
through you,
up.
Madam Chairman, that they literally, the egg timer is out, and as soon as it's beeping, say, okay, you're done, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, a minute or so extra, but some have carried on a little too long and been repetitive, and
Yeah.
I think it should just be at the chair's discretion, but just to be mindful. You know.
I am trying to get back in the habit, because with 40Bs, you really have to let them ride, I feel. We're their only stops.
And I mean, if
You know.
any board member is so inclined, they could indicate that the speaker has gone on too long.
Yeah.
So you attend a lot of the select board meetings?
Yeah.
Are they all cut off at 2 minutes?
She's good at it.
No, sometimes it
She's
depends
good.
on who you are.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I watch the
I've never
chair,
been
and she
special,
does a
so
great
I
job.
can't say that.
You get more than 2. No, I think that, again, we just went through over a year of meeting every week, and I agree with Jim's thought process, where you try and have an open and frank discussion, but it's also, the structure of the board is that it's defined in our rules, regs.
I
that-
read it tonight, yep.
that so many minutes for each person, and, if you're going to let somebody go a minute, then everybody gets a minute, so, a line in the sand is interesting, and I do like a clock, or I do like, some sort of a light that lets people know, because quite honestly, I think that's the reg, that's how we're defined. I would be more structured in saying, let's lock people down to refine your thought process. If you know you have 2 minutes, you have 2 minutes, and that's it.
Should we
I'd
try a
like-
timer?
I'd like to start, if you're putting it on your phone, that when it goes off, everybody can hear it. And
So I
it's a
should
signal-
use this and have an alarm.
Do that. I have no problem, I don't have any problems when you put an egg timer up here.
That's what I was thinking, because then the public can see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Scott's
At least they know they gotta hurry up, you
Well,
know?
I think the other part of the problem too, though, is you have an applicant who's coming in and they have, 15 minutes or more if they ask, right?
Right.
And then you have various abutters who are potentially going to be impacted by, if it's, say, like a raise and rebuild.
Yeah.
And so I think, from a property point of view, it's very difficult to imagine that the house next door to you is going to be raised and rebuilt. And the applicant can spend, a certain amount of time explaining this, but that you as the abutter have 2 minutes to get everything out. And most people, it's a one-time appearance here, right?
Right.
They're not you know,
Of their
other
life.
than people that represent people,
Yeah.
right? All your abutters are first time, and they don't know what your rules are. They're not reading them because they're not the applicant. So while I think it's important that people be as concise as possible and not run on, you have to sort of temper.
Do you think if I remind a person
I
when they
think
come up to the
it's probably,
podium?
because here's the other part,
That
is
help, do you
that
think?
if the abutter doesn't have a chance to speak, their only outlet beyond this is an appeal. And I think that's not the best result for anybody. So I think, you know, particularly if abutters can work things out with applicants, because you also many times don't have the applicants talking to the abutters.
Right.
So the first time people are meeting is here. And it's not set up to be a friendly mediation, right? So I think it has to be sort of, you know, threading the needle because, you know, you're also meeting, or had been, every single week, and you guys are getting worn out. But each of these abutters that comes in, it's their one time, right? That they're here, and they're not caring that we've been running a marathon, right? They want to, and, you know, truly so. It's their property that they care about.
Well, let me just say, as someone who's come before this board prior to me being on this board for 2 properties and had to stand there and be told I had 2 minutes on a very important subject to me, it was a little difficult.
Yeah.
But I was also told at that time that I could ask for additional time. But to try and get out on a very serious project, something in 2 minutes, and you're not a professional doing this, remember. So I think that the chair really needs to try and manage this, and if they're repetitive, we've heard that, we need to move on. I agree with you about the 40Bs, but I think with these types that we need to cut it off. It's a long time.
Some people come with a prepared statement, which
Yeah.
they're reading, and, you know, to say you got to cut it off, it really bothers them and messes with their mind.
It does.
Yeah.
I think it's a good,
It's a fun thing.
I think now's a good opportunity to counsel anybody that's watching that may potentially be here, that they really need to take notes and practice what they have to say beforehand. And also, I'd just like to add that I think that the offenders have been the applicant as often as the neighbors.
That's-
There was one a
Yes.
couple of weeks ago where I almost fell asleep. I won't mention which one it was, but it was a little long, and I should have said something. I wanted to, but I didn't. I thought he was going to end, but he never did. But anyway.
No, but feel free to speak up if I'm too lame to do it. And you've done it, I think you did one other time, but feel free to speak.
Yeah,
Just
and
say,
like
"Jay."
in a selectmen's meeting, they usually say, can you wrap it up? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
they don't cut people off, I mean, because.
No, she does a great job. I watch, and she does a really good job.
So, Madam Chair, what do you propose as the conclusion to what this we're going to do? Do you want to just time it on your clock?
I'm going to just time it like I
And
did
just have
tonight.
a gong go off?
No, just the brain will go off.
Can I be the gong guy?
And I'm serious about this, because you're listening carefully to what they're saying, and if we had some sound effect of some kind, it would be helpful, I think, to all of us.
Okay, I can set that.
I'm just one
No.
person, it's up to the
No, I
board.
think that's all right. I don't know if they need to see something, like, do you feel they need to see a light?
Well, we have rules and procedures, right? And it's in the rules and procedures of how much time you have. Sounds like everybody's saying, make sure we're being transparent, make sure we're giving people benefit of the doubt, but
I think
they
this-
need the optics of understanding that you're going to get it 2 minutes, and that's it.
I think if I say wrap it up.
I think maybe if, before you take public comment, just remind them that
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
that's
isn't a forever thing.
That's a good way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And,
maybe that they just have, I've noticed that some of the applicants, they sit down and then they want to get back up. I'm not applicants, abutters.
Yeah.
And you just limit it to, you get your one time at bat. And not, you know, because then they come back up, well, I want to make another comment.
except sometimes there's a point made that
Something comes
necessarily,
up
it's
that they-
necessary to
right.
counter.
Yeah, I guess.
But we'll just make an effort to keep and it's not like it happens all the time, but there have been a couple instances.
The only two things if it's all right, just have a little brief discussion that I find that I cringe. It's the applicant who goes well beyond 15 minutes, the public comes up and comments, and then the applicant wants to get up and rebut for another 10 or 15 minutes everything that was said, I'm like, wait a minute. That's the sort of thing, I'm like, maybe they should just ask for a little time at the end to reserve to address, or the board, or you, Madam Chairman, make a finding. The other is the people who have entered a written statement in opposition into the record a week, and now they want to read it, and they're going on for 5 or 10 minutes. That, to me, is just getting repetitive. They need to just kind of surmise, or...
I think especially in the case of the applicant, it's more incumbent on them to
Well, one of the tactics that I used was to have it written out and ask to have the chair or someone, the clerk, read it into the minutes. And that is something that if someone pays attention, they can have done. It's a good tactic because it gets read into the minutes. And you have to make that request. So that's something, if somebody really has, I mean, obviously, we don't want 10 pages, so maybe there's limits on that, too. I don't know.
I mean, we just had one last week, it was 4 pages, I think.
Which I didn't read, I just summarized.
Right, he summed it up, and he even
The other one
said,
is-
he requested to read.
When you have a
But it was
project
long.
that draws a lot of people from the neighborhood, and you get this parade of people up there, and they all say the same thing. So I think at some point, it's fair, Suzanne, to say, get
Has to
anything
be
new.
something new.
Okay. And I'll try that line, let's wrap it up, because that's the line the chair
and
uses, and it's a
I
good
don't think
one.
anyone wants to stifle...
indicate in the beginning that they don't have all night.
Advocate for their neighborhood, so on.
No.
That's the
Yeah.
times I think we just need to...
Move it on, yep,
Move it on.
okay.
And if that doesn't work,
Then we'll get
to
the
We'll get the
catering
traffic
gong.
lights.
Yeah, then we'll get the gong.
Mark will fall asleep, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
All right, that was board discussion. I was going to discuss myself of the staking thing. I don't know if we can utilize the phone in this at all.
Why should we have to? The rules are, it's the first page they get. I mean, if they can't comply, see you later. And, I mean, it's been pretty good. All of a sudden, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a few.
Well, that's what I mean, the winter is a problem because of we had the 2 inches, we had the freeze, and the 2 inches of rain, and,
These
I mean,
people
all
are
my snow shakes
professionals.
laid down in my driveway, I'll tell you that much.
These people are professionals. They do it for a living.
Yeah.
Like I have the first friend that I asked about, he looked at me like I had 9 heads. Because I got a crowbar mark. What's the problem? I mean, and honestly, if you can't get it in the ground, I mean, look at your phone. I mean, they could have gone back on Monday. They could have gone back over the weekend. The ground was soft. And around here, the frost line, if it gets down 3 inches.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
And I mean, there's the guys that are putting in the foundation, everybody depends on these stakes. I mean, I'm working on a house that's been staked out for a year. I just ran one over the other day. What's that noise? It didn't matter by then, but I mean, they were put in the ground properly. This is sandy soil.
And it's right on the application, I mean.
And when you don't drive them in past the taper and the stake, what do you expect? The wind can blow it over.
Nobody wins. The applicant doesn't win,
Yeah.
and we certainly don't,
No,
because now
we like
it
lose more than
continues,
them.
and we're bottling up another meeting date. It would have been nice to
And I mean,
get through these this evening.
Sometimes I run around at the end of the day fighting the darkness, and when I, drive all the way somewhere and I see a mess, I mean, why waste my time? And I think everyone else's time is just as valuable.
Well, next meeting, it'll be light out, we change our clocks.
Our next meeting is the 7th?
13th.
We have a week off.
It is, okay, all right.
We're in that honeymoon phase right now. Yeah, well, clocks will change.
All right,
Be
yeah,
getting
they
here in the
change on the
daylight.
9th.
Yeah. All right, so zoning administrator updates.
So I brought my list of most recent administrative approvals so that we could run through those, because I think we had a bunch of meetings where everybody was dying to get home, so we have a couple of minutes. So 224 County Road, the ZBA had granted a prior permit for that. You may recall, they originally proposed to put their condenser in the front yard, and the neighbors were not thrilled aesthetically about that. So we granted an administrative approval to put the condenser in the roof area on the north side, so they found a little niche that they could tuck it in. So from an aesthetic purpose, it looks much better. And then they had a semi-parking area in the front that wasn't really working out, that they just...
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just put gravel there. So we gave them administrative approval for that. 9 Fairmount, they had an existing 3-family that was a true 3-family. They just wanted to convert it to 2 condominiums, no exterior changes. It's less, so we granted that. 442 Acapesket, they had a zoning board special permit for detached garage with living space above. They wanted to add a balcony to the second floor on the side, so we granted that. 225 Metoxet, they had a special permit for an accessory dwelling unit in the front yard, and they wanted to shift a deck that they had shown on the plan from the west to the northwest, so we granted that. 21
The property that
Longfellow.
has about 3 or 4 acres, it was a huge lot.
Pushing a lot on the side.
21 Longfellow, they were adding an open porch to the northeast corner and some deck and some steps. 263 Alder Lane, they were removing a portion of deck and bumping out their house to add a laundry and half bath, so not habitable area. And they actually also slightly reduced their lot coverage, so it was a benefit for everybody. And then 51 Buzzards Bay, they were bumping or pushing out their family room an additional 63 square feet over a former porch area. So we granted that.
Wow, you've been busy.
We have been very busy.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I think you obviously get a lot of regular decisions and permits, but the administrative approval list continues to grow too. But I think it's more efficient for everybody, for, you know, smaller items that...
Thank you.
Go team,
That's-
go.
That's a lot of work.
We're very proud of you.
Yeah, really. Other board discussion? You're all done for the night, right? You're all done for the night?
No, there's nothing else.
Anything else to discuss?
I'm only kidding.
My mind is at the next location.
Board updates. We have a meeting, another Thursday off.
It was 7:12. How's that for an update?
There you go. All right, board updates is over. Future agenda items? None. Okay, our next meeting is on March 13th at 6 PM. March, I'm calling on you.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? No?